20 unbelievable optical illusions. 20 big, bigger, biggest. Actually not, but this form of optical illusion is called the Ponzo illusion, which refers to the way our brain assumes the size of an object based on the perceived distance of it. So, although these cars look like they are different sizes, they are in fact all the exact same size. 19. Distorted reality. Optical illusions are also known as montiseurs, and if you visit the park in front of the City Hall in Paris, you will see this optical illusion created by French artist François Abel-Lanet. It looks like a 3D globe, but it's completely flat. It's made with sand and hay and called Who to Believe. 18. What do you see? This one is a classic, but even still, it takes folks sometimes a few minutes to figure out the two different images you can see, either an old woman or a young woman. What do you see? 17. Yes, it's the dress again. But you can't have a list about optical illusions and not include it. Was it white and gold or blue and black? The answer was blue and black, and this illusion is an example of a reversible image. This image was such a phenomenon that there were more than 10 million tweets mentioning the dress, and neurologists are busy looking into it more deeply. 16. Reality is merely an illusion. The Ebbinghaus illusion tricks us into believing that these two orange circles are different in size. The circle surrounded by the larger grey circles looks considerably smaller than the orange circle surrounded by the smaller grey circles. The crazy thing is that both orange circles are the exact same size. 15. A mind twister. This one is hard to believe, but the squares with the letters A and B are actually the exact same color. Apparently, it has something to do with our brains adjusting colors automatically when it's surrounded by shadows. Bizarre, isn't it? 14. Hard to focus. This optical illusion actually hurts my eyes and my brain when I look at it and try and figure it out. This was created by Roger Newland Shepherd, a cognitive scientist and author of a book called Mind Sights. He named it Legs Essential Quandary. It's literally impossible to separate the legs from the background. 13. Can you see it? What appears to be a beautiful painting of an elderly couple morphs into a Mexican playing a guitar, another dancing on the left, and a doorway at the back with someone popping through. 12. Grow and shrink in the space of seconds by walking through an Ames room. An Ames room is one incredible optical illusion, and the room is actually trapezoidal, with the walls being slanted and floor and ceiling are at an incline. It was invented in 1934 by Adelbert Ames Jr., who was an ophthalmologist. When viewing people in the Ames room, you view them through a peephole as well. 11. It's a test. What do you see? A duck or a rabbit? This illusion was drawn in 1899 by an American psychologist called Joseph Jastrow, who wanted to prove that perception isn't just what we see, but involves our mental activity as well. He tested how quickly people could differentiate between the two images, and this was said to prove how quickly our brain worked and how creative we were. 10. You're not colorblind. This is yet another incredible optical illusion, which shows a cube with many different colors. If you were asked how many colors are featured in the cube, what would you say? If you said 7 for orange, green, red, brown, blue, white, and red, well, you would be wrong. There are only 6 colors in the cube. Surprisingly, the orange square is not orange, but actually brown. It's difficult to believe that, but when the surrounding blocks are covered with paper, the square is indeed brown. 9. Too much to handle. This one actually hurts my eyes as well, and I have to look away pretty quickly. All the dots in this picture are white, but strangely, some of those dots appear black. No one has been able to explain why this actually happens. 8. Back to basics. You might have been given this optical illusion in your maths class as a kid. I know we were. You had to decide which of these tables were longer, or were they the same size? We were all hugely surprised when after measuring them, the longer sides of the tables were both the exact same size. 7. Forward or sideward? How do you perceive this image? They say it's been made by layering several images over one another, which is how the two-faced images come to life. 6. A tad freaky. When you look at this image of the women upside down, you don't really notice anything amiss. But wait until the image gets turned around. Yikes! These women have morphed into monsters. It's said there are certain parts of your brain which deals with face perception, but since we don't often see upside down faces, it's not that easy to spot when things are distorted. 5. A trick of the mind. You would be forgiven for thinking that this image is moving, but would you believe that this is just a plain, static JPEG image? Hard to believe, isn't it? 4. Up or down. This is a very well-known illusion which features a cat either going up or down, really depending on how you perceive it. I would love to explain the mathematical explanation behind this phenomenon, but in a nutshell, it has something to do with our eyes on receiving images in 2D, although we see things in 3D, and that's where I'll stop. 3. The 3D effect. Julian Beaver has been creating the most incredible three-dimensional chalk art since the 90s and uses a projection technique called anamorphosis. He first draws the design on paper and with a camera set up to capture the various angles is able to create the most incredible designs. His work has taken him around the world. 2. Keeping it simple. This one is also one that has been spotted before, but many seem to struggle to identify the two different images that are placed in what appears to be a very basic optical illusion. Do you see the time glass and the faces of two people? 1. One for the road. You must have seen this image doing the rounds on social media a while back, and that's how we will wrap up our video for today. In the tree trunk and branches, there are several hidden faces for you to discover. How many do you think there are at a glance? The answer is 10. Now that they're pointed out, it's much easier to spot them, isn't it?